The basic duty of a pharmacist is to check prescriptions from physicians before dispensing the medication to the patients, and to ensure that the patients don't receive the wrong drugs or take an incorrect dose of medicine. We, as a pharmacist, should familiarize ourselves with these 5 R's. Right patient with the right medication, having a right dose with its right route of administration, on its right time. It is important to emphasize that pharmacists are the backbone of healthcare in many different settings. But providing care does not begin in community or hospital pharmacies only. Taking care of patients starts with recognizing the health issues of populations and developing medicines, policies, and education to tackle them. We, pharmacists, are often there at the very beginning of the process, when the first molecule that effectively treats a disease is identified. From research and development of medicines to educating future pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists and providing direct care, we do all this in the service of our patients and communities. Somewhat, pharmacists are not appreciated, and each and every one of us plays an extremely important role and contributes uniquely to the delivery of patient care. None of us are in this alone. It's through a team approach that we will be the best practitioners that we can be. Pharmacists are not just pharmacists with a white coat. With or without a white coat, we are pharmacists.
Good afternoon, class. So welcome to our first topic in midterm. So our topic is about specialties in pharmacy practice, functions, and responsibilities. So as we all know, the pharmacy profession in the Philippines is not popular or recognized by the Filipinos, or maybe they know a little about pharmacists in the community or hospitals, especially those who are usually admitted in the hospital or usually have the maintenance drugs, so they were able to know a little about pharmacists. But pharmacists before, they are more on product oriented. That's why they are known only for dispensing of drugs without further knowledge about the importance of pharmacists in the fields of healthcare system. So nowadays, pharmacy profession is beginning to be recognized. It's by its profession because the shifting of the roles of a pharmacist from product-oriented to a patient-oriented practice, meaning pharmacists should accept its social responsibilities to improve a patient quality of life of being passionate in their service and responsible in doing their patient counseling, educating, or as well as interacting with more interactions with their patients. And through that, the patients become knowledgeable and compliant in their medication, and it also reduces the preventable drug-related morbidity and mortality. So as a student, your career will not only limited in a community and hospital. As a matter of fact, there are many phases of pharmacists in different pharmacy settings. So as we go along, you will know what is the functions or responsibilities of the pharmacists in the manufacturing, in the academic, in regulations, as a regulatory pharmacist, in marketing, in community, hospital, as a clinician, as well in research and development, and so forth. So here in Philippines, these are the most professions, pharmacy practice that we have, and I hope you will enjoy our discussion for this afternoon. So class, before we proceed with your group presentation, I'm ko excited kayong lahat. So gusto ko muna kayong ma-inspired before we proceed our lesson. So here are some videos from my colleagues. So they are currently practicing their profession as a pharmacist in different fields. So some of my friends are in community, hospital, regulatory, and research and development. So I hope you will enjoy as you listen to their talks and get inspired and motivated to continue your BS Pharmacy program.
Hi guys, my name is Catherine April Bandejas, and I'm currently working in an inpatient pharmacy here in Singapore. Basically, our hospital has two types of inpatient pharmacy. The first, those that caters patients in the wards or those patients that are admitted. This is the section where I belong. What we do is we provide them with the medications that the doctor order, which then we send to them, which is like it's a stat or an initial dose. As well as we also do and check and send the routinary medications, which initially the doctor has prescribed the patient like yesterday, and it is to continue for a few or for a longer duration of time as long as the patient is admitted. So we process the medication in the pharmacy, then we send them to the wards. The other section of inpatient pharmacy, those pharmacists that cater the medications of the patient that has been discharged from the wards. For example, this patient has been discharged, is allowed to go home, so this patient will go to this section of the pharmacy, inpatient pharmacy, present the prescription which a doctor has handed them. Then the duty of the pharmacist is to prepare the medications and explain and counsel the patients on how to take them, including the side effects, including the food that are not allowed to eat, which can cause with the interaction of the medication. So everything they need to know about their medication, the pharmacist will have to explain. This is the work of an inpatient discharge pharmacist. Also, our hospital has other sections of the pharmacy. One is an outpatient pharmacy. Those pharmacists in this section caters patients from the clinics and also walk-in patients from other hospitals or other polyclinics. We call polyclinics those clinics that is outside hospital. Same thing, what they do is they dispense the medication, counsel the patient, and tell to them the do's and don'ts of the medication until their next doctor's appointment. And also, they will remind them to see doctor at this time. So everything that the patient need, the pharmacist will explain. Not only that, we also have another section, which is the A&E pharmacist, or what we call accident and emergency pharmacist. This section caters those patients that are walk-in outpatients. They provide them with their needs, with their medication, do the same thing, counsel and instruct them what to do with the medications. As well as those patients that are needed to be admitted, this pharmacist will give them the initial stat dose or the starting dose before these patients are being transferred to the ward. When the patient reaches the ward, and it's a duty of the ward pharmacist, or what we call inpatient ward pharmacy. So not only that, of course, the hospital or the entire pharmacy will not exist without the store pharmacy. Here, the pharmacies here are considered the purchasers of the medication. They make sure that the hospital has enough meds for the patient to cater with the proper, in order to give a proper patient care. So, that's all, and thank you for listening. Bye!
Okay, good morning. I'm Alvin Bartolome. I'm working at the Food and Drug Administration of the Philippines. Specifically, I work under the Common Services Laboratory, so sa laboratory. As a pharmacist, katulad ninyo, working for the Food and Drug Administration is a unique way or field of pharmacy practice. You get the chance to create policies, no? Makakapag-craft ka ng policies kung mahilig ka sa policy building. You get the chance to, test the products qualitatively and quantitatively using quality control. before it is being marketed in the Philippines. Pwede din na ikaw din ay mag-test ng mga products na kinokollect, specifically mga counterfeit products. So, for my case, I work for the laboratory under vaccine. So, it is a unique and complicated product na inaaral natin ngayon. So, we evaluate products before it is being marketed or circulated in the country. So, sa akin is lahat ng vaccine na dumadaan or magagamitin sa Pilipinas, ini-evaluate natin siya. Chine-check natin siya if it is if it is of good quality. So, yun lang. I hope ma-enjoy or encourage kayo, or it's a different field of pharmacy practice. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Tin. I'm a pharmacist. Share ko experience ko working as a pharmacist store head sa South Star Drug. Well, kapag pharmacist store head ka, mas malaki yung responsibility. It's not all about dispensing and patient counseling, sharing of knowledge, pagmumonitor ng mga kailangan for compliance sa FDA. Kapag store head ka, hindi lang yung FDA license yung titingnan mo. You will see din yung mga business permit, fire permit, mga health clearances. Tapos, staff, scheduling, availability of ng tao mo, then yung mga certificates of trainings nila na kailangan nilang i-complete, and yung mga certificates nila if ever aalis sila, clearances. Kapag sa sales, syempre, titignan mo kung ano yung mababa, ano yung saleable, ano yung kailangan ng mga pasyente. Stocks, dun mo titingnan kung kailangan mong kumuha ng stock sa ibang lugar. Dun mo titingnan kung kailangan mong mag-transfer ng stock papunta sa ibang lugar dahil malapit ang mag-expire. So, magkasama lagi ang sales and stocks kasi tandem sila lagi. Then, the fund, yung store fund, yung pangbayad ng utility bill, yung revolving fund ng cashier, kung kumpleto ba. Then, the premises, cleanliness of the premises, functionality of the computer, the AVR, the lightings, any electrical problems, then safety issues. Kung merong nag-shoplift, kailangan ginagawa ng report yon. Meron kang staff na nangunguha ng mga gamit, ng mga items, kailangan naka-report din yon. Then, paying of bills, as I've said, funds, utility bills. So, yung bills na yon, magre-request ka ng pambayad sa head office, gagawa nila ng cheque. Timely, kailangan titingnan mo kung on time ka magbabayad para hindi ka magpe-penalty. Kasi mahirap yung past due ka sa electricity, then the water bill, then yung bayad mo sa building, kung saan ka nakastay, yung store. Then, deductions sa mga nawawalang gamot, deduction ng nasirang gamot, deduction ng expired na gamot. So, ikaw din na mag-aayos ng mga yun. So, as you can see, maraming po pwedeng maging job opportunities ang pharmacist, and I would say na malakas ang isang pharmacy kapag mismong ang pharmacist ang storehead. Kasi, mahahawakan mo lahat ng lugar. Magkakaroon ka ng say in terms of sales na, alam nyo naman, masyadong mainit when it comes to antibiotics. Magkakaroon ka ng bosses na we have other means of na mas magandang kuhanan ng income, at the same time, mas ma-adjust mo yung mga kailangan when it terms to request, in terms of mga sasabihin ng mga seniors, sa mga PWD, kasi mas madali ka at mas mabilis ka makakapag-decide.
My name is Yani. I am currently working as a QC head/pharmacist in a manufacturing field of pharmacy. But before that, I want to share my experience bago ako mapunta sa pharmacy profession or pharmacy course mismo. Naalala ko nung nag-enroll ako, madami akong pinunta na school. And then, yung school naman yun, one day, nagpunta ako sa school na yun, nagpunta kami ni mama sa school na yun. As we stepped out of the school, enrolled na ako. Yun nga sa pharmacy profession, as a pharmacy course. Parang, ang bilis ng pangyayari. So, I believe it was destined for me. I believe I was destined to be a pharmacist kasi undecided pa ako noon eh. Nagulta lang ako, nung wala pa ako sa sarili noon. Na-enrolled na pala ako, ganun. Ganun yung experience ko nung nag-aaral ako bago ako mapunta sa pharmacy. And then, ayun, nag-graduate, nag-board exam, after nun, nag-work. Ang first work ko ay sa community setting. Actually, ang pharmacy may tatlong field. Community, and then manufacturing, and the hospital. First na pinuntahan ko ay community setting. Dahil medyo naghahanap ka pa, bata ka pa, ganyan. Actually, alam ko, naintindihan nyo kasi bata pa kayo. Nandun din ako sa time na yun, nung edad ko kayo. Naghahanap ka kung saan yung passion mo. Pero, nagtrabaho naman ako for 1.5 years sa drugstore chain, which is the South Star Drug, or you're formerly known as Manson Drug, if you're familiar with that. At ayun, nag-explore pa ako. Dito na ako napunta sa manufacturing field. Actually, may samahan, kaso hindi siya manufacturing, industrial. Going back do sa work ko, as a QC head / pharmacist in the manufacturing field, I am the one responsible in releasing batches of the medical grade oxygen. By testing the purities and tracing the impurities of the medical grade oxygen, I use Kitagawa for tracing the impurities, and I use sa purity tester for testing the purity of the medical grade oxygen. By the way, ang standard na sinusunod ni medical grade oxygen ay PNS 103 version 2003. Yun yung sinusunod dun specific si medical oxygen. Kasi di ba ginagamit natin siya sa katawan? Nandun lahat ng specs niya, kung ano yung tolerance niya, like 99.0% dapat yung purity niya, yung impurities niya nandun, naka-include doon. Gusto kong sabihin na hindi lang sa isa naka-focus ang pharmacy profession. Kagaya ko, ngayon, I am currently working as a QC head. Pero, sa ibang company, nag-work din ako. Nagpo-part-time din ako as a R&D, or the research and development sa cosmetic company. Kasi pwede tayo doon. Pwede gamitin yung lisensya natin doon. Pero yung license ko nandun naman sa manufacturing field kasi nauna sila eh. Pero dito, pwede naman kasi nag-work ka lang, may kasama kang pharmacist na nandun naman yung license niya, naka-register naman doon. Kumbaga, magkakasama kayong mga pharmacist doon, nag-formulate ka ng bagong produkto like serum, yung last na product namin na aprubahan ng boss namin ay multipurpose detergent, Fabcon, dishwashing. Ngayon, we're currently working for feminine wash, ganyan. Pwede din sa lip tint, ganyan. Hindi siya boring. Yan ang gusto kong sabihin sa inyo. Kung hindi pa kayo decide talaga na i-push through ang maging pharmacist, kung sakaling maging pharmacist kayo, hindi kayo magsisisi kasi marami kayong pupuntahan. Para sa akin kasi, kino-consider ko yun eh. Siguro kasi dati, gusto kong maging doktor, kaya nandito ako ngayon sa ganito sa medical field. Pero wala ako doon sa line na yun, di ba? Wala ako sa hospital. Pero nag-enjoy ako. And at the same time, hindi siya kagaya ng iba na maliit yung bigayan, gano'n. Yun ang importante doon, di ba? Kaya nga tayo nagtatrabaho para may pangbuhay tayo sa sarili natin, di ba? Meron tayong sariling panggastos, ganyan. Gusto ko kayong i-inspire na kung hindi pa kayo decided sa pharmacy course, sinasabi ko sa inyo, hindi kayo magsisisi. Lalo na kung pagpursigihan nyo, tapos nandun pa yung passion nyo, masarap sa feeling. Ayun, I hope na nakatulong tong sinabi ko, nakatulong tong video na to, and nagpapasalamat din ako for having me, na isa sa mga na-interview for this, na mag-inspire sa mga hindi pa sigurado sa course na to. Since ako, pharmacist ako, yung mga experiences, maganda talaga. Maganda talaga sinasabi ko. Pero, yun nga, hindi kayo magsisisi. And ayun, thank you for your time and attention. And thank you also for having me.